I first approached Akhnaten in 2016, and I didn't know anything about this historical figure from Egyptian antiquity, but as I got deeper and deeper into him, I found all the ways in which he was so incredibly complex, but also contemporary. He was a visionary who was probably the first monotheist in history, which informed then Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And he was also a great thinker. He transformed the way culture was made, the way writing was done, and he created what was called the Amarna period in ancient Egypt 3,000 years ago, 200 years before Moses. I mean, it's kind of remarkable. And yet, as a visionary, his reign only lasted 17 years, and then he was torn from power, and we don't know exactly how. In the opera, he's killed, which I think is a fair hypothesis, and the traditional values came back. The values that he abolished came back and took over, and everything he established was destroyed. So it's a really interesting parable for the times we live in now, but also a look at history through an artistic lens. Akhnaten is the third of Philip Glass's trilogy. He began with Einstein on the Beach, and that was about Einstein, and then Gandhi in Satyagraha, and the third was Akhnaten. And if you look at his compositional language, I feel you see it change and become almost more operatic and theatrical, whereas Einstein has a different form entirely. Akhnaten somehow codifies into something we recognize more as opera, and so I love the accessibility just of that format, and also the joy of the rhythmic juxtapositions that he puts in drums and in the winds. I will say that it is impossible to memorize Philip Glass's music. It took me literally 4 months of repeating it because he'll take two phrases, repeat those two phrases, change a little piece, repeat that, change a little piece. 10 minutes later, you're thinking, wait, am I in phrase 42? And you try and make these charts to memorize it, but of course, then you have to visualize the chart. So the only way to do it is to make it a part of your body and almost a ritual. And that is what this whole show is more than anything, is a beautiful and meaningful ritual.